Triangulation. It is one of the things that the narcissist uses as a weapon against you. And this is only possible for them, for the narcissist, because of shame. I will tell you why. I will give you a few examples of what triangulation actually is, but in short, it is when the narcissist is using someone who is not present to actually put you down, criticize you, or scold you, or make you feel wrong. Okay? So, the first example I will give you is an example from my own life. I had a chaotic home. My dad was a narcissist. My mother was an alcoholic. She wasn't really there emotionally. And my father was very dominant. And so school became sort of an oasis for me. That was where I could unfold my potential and feel that I could excel and there was a room for me and who I was. So I loved school. And I was always ahead, and I loved doing the work and studying and doing my homework. I was always thrilled when the teacher said, "So you're gonna write an essay for Monday?" I was like, "Yes!" Where everybody was like, "Oh," I was like, "Yes!" Because I knew that that was where I could stand out. So one day, I think it's around probably grade 4 or 5, my father says to me, I have talked to your teacher, and your teacher tells me that you're not really putting in an effort at school. You're not doing the work. You're not doing your homework, and you're not being active and enthusiastic in school. And I was like, I didn't even know what to say because that was so far from reality. But fortunately, I had no boundaries, or very little boundaries. So I went to my teacher, my school teacher, and I said to him, "Why have you told my father that I'm not doing my homework? I do my homework every single day. Every time you give us an essay or have something that we can do, I love it." There's a little dog coming here to say hi. And he looked like this. And he said, "What? I haven't talked to your father at all." I was like, "What? You haven't talked to my father?" But he told me that he had talked to you on the phone. You called him and said that I was not doing the work, the homework that you gave me here in school. "No, I have not talked to your father at all." That's the first time in my life that I knew without any doubt that my father was lying, and he was lying a lot. And this was just one of many, many lies. But what it also was triangulation. My father was using my teacher to make me feel wrong and feel bad. Even though it was a total lie, he was using this to get to me, to make me feel wrong. And this is one of the things that narcissists do a lot. They will tell you that someone said something about you. And of course, if you are ruled by shame, you will not go to that person and say, "Hey, you know what? This guy told me that you said this about me, and that doesn't make sense to me, or I think we should talk about this." Because most of us live in a culture where we are a little conflict avoidant. Yeah? So we won't go around asking people what they mean when they say that someone said something about us. And this is triangulation. Another example of triangulation is one that is very common, unfortunately. It is not only in dysfunctional families that this goes on, but it is a very dysfunctional pattern. It is a pattern, a situation where, for example, a family member, could be a sister or your mother or an uncle, says to you, "Yeah, I talked to your brother or your sister or your aunt, and they said that you said this to them, and that really hurt them. They were very hurt that you said this thing to them. And the problem here is that if you start defending yourself or discussing this issue with the person who is relaying the message to you, you are actually discussing with the person who is not there. And you cannot solve this issue by talking to the person who is relaying the message on you. You have to say, you know what, I'm so glad you told me that, because now I will go and talk to this person and actually solve this problem and solve this situation. It is between that person and me, not you and me. But thank you for telling me so I can fix it. And then you can go to that person and say, hey, you know what? This person told me that you have this problem with me, that you feel offended by me saying blah, 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 or doing blah, blah, blah. And I would really like to talk to you about it so we can solve it and move on. Triangulation-wise, this is a situation that most families know, and most families have tried it. I often hear it from my clients. My sister says that my mother was very offended that I didn't want to go and do this thing for her. And you cannot defend yourself, because it's not your sister who is angry at you, it's your mother. But your mother didn't tell it, and maybe your mother actually did tell your sister that you did this thing that made her offended, and she cannot tell it to you because then you will just be angry with her, so the sister has to convey it. Or maybe your sister simply has the healer syndrome and feels that she has to fix the situation in the family. So as you can see, this puts you in a very bad situation, and it puts the person who is delivering the message in a very bad situation. So the person who is delivering the message should have said to the person telling them this, you know what, if you have a problem with this person, you should tell themselves. Like, for example, if my sister told me that my mother was unhappy with me, something I did or said, my sister should have said to my mother, when our mother told her about the problem, she should have said to my mother, you know what, you should not discuss this with me, you should discuss it with Maria, because you have this problem with Maria and not with me. When you talk about Maria and something Maria did behind Maria's back, you're actually gossiping. I don't want to participate in gossiping. If this does not happen and my sister comes to me and she says that my mother is offended by something I did or I said, I should tell my sister, you know what, you should actually not be in the middle of this. I will go and talk to my mother about this, and I will tell her, Mom, you need to tell me if you have a problem with me. And if she says, well, I can't talk to you because you get offended and then you just get angry with me and I don't want to experience that, then you can say, well, you know, that's your problem. You're a grown woman. If you feel that you cannot talk to me, let's have some kind of third party in, and let's find out how to talk to each other in a better way. So there's a lot of communication misunderstandings when you're with a narcissist, and this is just one of them, the triangulation. But try to be aware of it in your life, in your family, whether people are triangulating, whether you are triangulating, telling something about something that someone else said about them, and stop it. Stop doing it, because it is unhealthy behavior and it is conflict avoidant, and it will not solve your problems. It will only create more disharmony in your relationships. Okay. I hope you take something good from you with this video, and I wish you great personal work and keep up the good work of becoming more healthy. See you soon again. Bye.